Did you know American football games played in domed or roofed stadiums score on average about 4 points more per game than outdoor games, especially in November and December? Warm weather games also tend to have more points than cold weather games, according to safestbettingsites.com. Let's see how each element affects the game. I personally remember watching the college football Orange Bowl back in January of 2006. That game was crazy. It went into triple overtime. I remember thinking I'd run out of VHS tape. What's this have to do with excessive heat, you ask? Well, my team, the Penn State Nittany Lions, were not used to playing in Miami, Florida, a location known for its heat and humidity. Local football temperature in State College ranged from 40s up to the 70s Fahrenheit, with a very reasonable dew point of 50s to low 60s. So the Florida State team clearly had at least one advantage when they are based in Tallahassee, Florida. At game time, the temperature was 76 Fahrenheit and a dew point of very sticky 67 Fahrenheit. Kickoff was 8 p.m. local. As the game wore on, the Penn State players started dropping like flies from exhaustion, muscle cramps, and dehydration. The winning field goal was kicked at 1 a.m., so yeah, that was a very late night. This game personally made me wonder if more needs to be done to protect players from the elements. By the way, Penn State won that game 26-23. The hottest NFL game recorded was a scorching 109 degrees Fahrenheit on the AstroTurf at Dallas Cowboys home field in Dallas, Texas back in September 2000, where the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys 41-14, also known as the pickle juice game because many of the players stayed hydrated by drinking pickle juice. But in all seriousness, heat kills. From 1995 to 2012, the National Center for Catastrophic Sports Injury Research found that 52 football players died from exertional heat stroke, or EHS. That's terrible and preventable. Scientists are still researching safer methods, and the Wet Bulb Globe Temperature Index, or WBGT, is used in many sports to determine safety of play, as it is considered a more accurate measurement of heat stress on the human body. The NFL officially started using the Wet Bulb Global Temperature after the death of a Minnesota Viking player at practice back in 2001, a sad but necessary rule. Did you know that cold affects the football itself? Air pressure decreases inside the football similar to your car tires. Remember having to fill them up after the first cold snap every year? Same thing applies here. That pressure drop also makes it harder to make kicks and punts. In extreme pressure drops, it can even require more force than usual to strike the ball. And apparently this makes the football a bit cranky because it doesn't respond as well in cold weather compared to warm weather. Also, player grip strengths have been shown to decrease rapidly in freezing temperatures. A 2016 study found that if the temperature is below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, turnovers increase by 42%. And if it's below 10 degrees, it jumps up to 52%. Yikes. As I said before, that lung burn that gets to us mere mortals, yeah, it affects our favorite sports players too. Cold makes muscles more stiff and can lead to injury. Colder weather makes the players' bodies use energy up to 5 times faster. They lose stamina and their reaction time can drop by nearly half. As it gets colder and colder, it gets harder to gain yardage. Warmer weather games can have 5% more yardage, hence leading to lower points scored in cold weather games, sometimes a drop of almost 11%, as according to USA Today. Some secret ways the players stay warm: using heat packs and muffs, usually inside the sleeves, especially for the quarterback. Heated insoles are popular, which helps prevent injury. Spraying antiperspirants inside shoes before games to reduce chill from evaporating sweat. Heated benches are pretty common, as well as heaters and blowers, but people can get injured by these, and there's a risk of fire. As the age-old favorite, dress in layers. Why? Because it works. Essentially, use your own body heat to re-warm yourself. According to theactivetimes.com, the coldest ever NFL game was played January 10, 1982, when the San Diego Chargers played the Cincinnati Bengals at Cincinnati Riverfront Stadium, where it was -9 Fahrenheit, nicknamed the Freezer Bowl. The 35-mile-per-hour winds made the wind chill a very cold -38 Fahrenheit. OMG. Guess who won? That's right, the hometown advantage paid off. The Bengals over the Chargers 27-7. Another honorable mention, the Ice Bowl, played December 31, 1967. This NFL championship game between the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys sported a temperature of 13 degrees below zero. Whew! Rain isn't just annoying when it comes to American football, it can also be downright dangerous. It's been proven that a wet field can increase the risk of injury for the players. The offensive team is actually in a better position since they know the play, however, the defense is at a loss in wet conditions since reacting to the play can cause slipping and hence injury. A wet football is also harder to throw and catch, which would be the basics of the game, and toweling off the football can only do so much in a heavy downpour. Snow seems to have a deeper impact on the field goals than rain does on the whole. In December 1979, the game between the Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs would be dubbed the Monsoon Game after the heavens seemed to open upon the stadium, causing waterfalls on the stadium steps, 7 fumbles, and 5 turnovers. And let's not forget snow here. In December 1982, Foxborough, Massachusetts, the infamous snow plow game was played between the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. This game win was controversial because the snow plow, literally a John Deere tractor, was brought on to clear a spot for the special teams kicker, which ended up being the winning play. Sounds kind of shady to me. In American football, it's not just the speed of the football that's important, the direction is also crucial. The wind is the single most impacting weather element on American football games. High winds have been known to change the direction of the football mid-air, leading to failed plays and frustrated players and fans alike. As reported by a Buffalo, New York local news column, as wind speed increases, there is a direct correlation to decreasing passing statistics like passing yards, yards per attempt, passer rating, and completion percentage, meaning that the teams will generally run the football instead of trying to pass as a response to the adverse weather conditions. Don't think that the quarterback is the only player affected either. The place kicker may also struggle with field goal attempts in high wind conditions. One of the windiest games in the NFL was 40 miles per hour in Cleveland in a game between the St. Louis Rams and the Cleveland Browns back in 2011. Final score was 13-12 Rams, a very low-scoring game. According to Specs.com, quarterback completion of passes dropped significantly as wind speeds increase, touchdowns drop, and interceptions increase, also with increasing wind speeds. The tipping point seems to be after gusts reach 14 miles per hour, and if they get over 30 miles per hour, our teams are really in trouble. Scores also drop as wind speeds increase, according to safestbettingsites.com. According to research from Penn State University, Denver football athletes actually have a competitive edge over opponents not from there because their bodies are used to operating and performing with less oxygen. Teams will typically try to arrive early in order to acclimate to the mile-high city's higher altitude. It has been shown in a Scandinavian Journal of Medical Science and Sports article in 2008 that football performance decreases as altitude increases because of reduced oxygen availability. They also found that the football players can actually run faster at higher altitudes, which is cool, but it also changes drag and impairs sensory motor skills thanks to reaction times. Footballs also travel faster and further in the thinner, higher altitude air, which is about 82% as dense as the air at sea level. For example, field goals from visiting teams to Denver, Colorado saw their kickoffs travel about 8 yards farther on average than back in their home fields. How about that? This is mostly because the drag has changed due to less air molecules acting against the football, but the opposite can also happen in cold weather. The density of the air increases, leading to less than stellar field goal accuracy and punt lengths, according to HowStuffWorks.com. And when it comes to visibility, the Fog Bowl was played in 1988 between the Bears and the Eagles during an NFC divisional playoff game at Chicago's Soldier Field. The fog reduced the visibility to 15 yards from the second quarter to the end of the game. This is an infamous game for poor performance by both teams. Some players said they couldn't even see the sidelines. Wow! Again, the home field advantage ruled here with Chicago over the Eagles 20-12. This is one of the reasons for indoor sports stadiums. Next time we will dive deeper into weather and baseball.